Sanbonani guys, welcome back to yet another video about episode 2 of Isencane Lengane. As you can hear, the flu has got me on chokehold, so that's why my voice is sounding the way it's sounding. But you know what? We are here and we have showed up, so that's about that. There's so much that I want to say about episode 2, but I'm going to break it down in different videos, so check out that. But let's get straight into this video. So episode 2, in the summary, it is just about Tando's father. It was all about Tando's father, her relationship with her father, and Siyacela. You know, Siyacela is always going to be in there with his nasty attitude. Anyway, so the episode 2 starts off with Tando. She's in the field with her mothers. Her mothers, meaning that Siyacela's father, right, was a polygamist. He was married to many men. So I'm calling them her mothers because it's her mother-in-law, her mothers-in-law. And in the Zulu cultures, we don't really have something called a mother-in-law. We just say it's your mother. Well, in the black cultures like that, an older woman is your own mother. And then some of her other sisters-in-laws or other women who are married into the same family as her. So she then tells, one of her mothers that she heard that her biological father, which is Uthembi Nkosi, that he wants to meet up with her and speak to her. And she places emphasis that she heard it from someone else that he wants to meet up with her, and not that he has directly called her or contacted her and spoke to her about meeting her. But the issue comes in that she feels like her father's being disrespectful, because when they were going through the process of ilobona, the family that was introduced to her in-laws is her mother's family, because she grew up with her mother, and she didn't grow up with her father basically. So the family that was introduced to her in-laws is her mother's family. So her in-laws, the Dlamukas, know her mother's family. So she feels like it's disrespectful for him to come out of the blue and shoot straight to the Dlamuka families, whereas his family is not known. She feels like he should have done the proper procedure of passing through his mother first, speaking to his mother. And then after speaking to his mother, the mother's supposed to then come to the Dlamukas and then communicate that, no, Tando, your father wants to see you, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how that was going to happen because, Tando and Tando's father and the mother, according to the last episode, those people, they don't get along. But I don't know how this thing was shot or how. Yeah, I don't know the timeline of when it was shot, because the previous episode we see that Tando's father and mother, when Tando saw when Tando's mother saw Tando's father, according to episode 1, they left on a very bad note. But there is a possibility that happened like way after like today's scene. So anyway, Tando actually even says that her father, Uthembi Nkosi, when Babu Dlamuka was being buried, your shame, guys, I miss Babu Dlamuka. I still, you know what, like, it still baffles me of how the way uSiyacela Plaza corner, like, it baffles me that he's coming from Ubabu Dlamuka, because Ubabu Dlamuka, he was such a like wise like man and so calm. I'm just like, Siyacela is coming from that, but yet he behaves. And the thing is, the Dlamuka family is so respectful. Like, it's hard for me to even digest how Siyacela is so disrespectful, yet he's coming from such a respectful home. Like, it baffles me. So anyway, Uthembi Nkosi, when Babu Dlamuka was when it was Babu Dlamuka's funeral, Uthembi Nkosi decided to speak at the funeral. And I'm just like, yeah, that was just out of order. Like, how do you suddenly just get up and speak at you in-laws' funeral and you haven't met them like that? Don't you think that's a bit like inconsiderate? So the wives basically say, or the mothers of Tando basically say that they don't know Uthembi Nkosi. They don't know him. They don't have a relationship with him. Quite frankly, has never came to them and like revealed or showed up himself to them and said, okay, yes, I am Tando's father. They just know that he's the father, but he has never like came in a respectful way and spoken to them, and they also feel disrespected because according to their rules, once a person is married into their family, the person is regarded as their own daughter. Like Tando is regarded as their own daughter and belonging to them. So if he wants Tando to come and see him, he's supposed to basically ask permission from them in order for him to see Utando, because Tando is their, yeah, she's their responsibility in a sense. Yeah, but anyway, no matter who may say what, I mean, it's their rules, it's their home, and if you're gonna do anything or if anyone's gonna do anything or want to have any sorts of connection with anyone in the yard, they need to play by their rules. Because the other Makwetis were actually saying that that was the same thing for them. Well, I don't know if she was a Makwete or if she was Bawujamuga's other wife, but she said that when she had to go and visit her family would have to ask permission from her in-laws in order for her to be granted permission to go and see her in-laws. You don't just like get up and leave like that. And that's just culturally, guys. That's just the right way of doing things. You don't just like, especially when you're Makote and you're staying in people's yards, you don't just get up and leave Njeganjan. But I do want to say that I used to think that Tando is being influenced by her mother, or the Siyacela, of the way she speaks about her father. But I feel like, yes, there's Tando, and Tando's going through her own things. She's granted, I mean, this man just rocks up out of nowhere, then wants to demand respect. Not demand respect or demand a relationship just because he's the biological father. Like, you don't, just because you're the biological father, yes, you have father, but you don't demand a relationship, you earn a relationship. And I think that's something Utembugosi doesn't get. He thinks that just by virtue of being her father and coming back into her life, then he should have a relationship with Utando. He needs to work his way to earn her trust, to earn a relationship with her. But the fact that to the other elder woman was saying the same thing, that we don't know him, he's never came to us, I feel like then that means there's something wrong with Tempinkosi, because they can't all be speaking the same story. They can't all be saying they're feeling disrespectful. He's never came to them and all of those shenanigans. And yet, Iana, he's telling another narrative. That means he is in the wrong. You can't like want to have your own way just because that's your daughter and yet your daughter's married off into another family. So Tando might, she might be correct, or she might be correct in the way that she's portraying her father, which is that he bypasses a lot of things just to like get access to her. And even in him wanting to get access to her, it's not for the right reasons, because Utando was saying that he only meets up with her and he only tries to contact her when the camera crew, when it's time to roll the camera, meaning that only when it's time to be shooting, excuse me, only when it's time to be shooting a scene, or when it's time to be shooting the show, that's when he'll call and that's when he knows her. And I'm just like, as a Tim, because he's the type of guys, like, he's very good with his words. He's very good with his words. And if you listen to him alone, you think Kuguti, like, he's speaking the truth. But I'm just like, there's so much, like, you can speak the truth, but people around you can't all be speaking like the same story, and you like innocent in all of it. So I do believe, like, to a certain extent, that Thembinkosi, because when I was listening to his diary sessions, I'm like, there's something about someone's diary sessions, guys. The diary sessions will reveal like how a person truly is. Because when the cameras are rolling, you can act, right? But the diary sessions, you're now trying to explain whatever's been shown there. But Chemingwas's sessions, you guys, I'm just like, this man, he's not as innocent as he portrays himself to be. And quite frankly, what I got out of Chemingwas's diary sessions is that he likes attention. He's a man that likes attention, and he's willing to go through lengths just so that he gets attention and just so that he can portray himself in the light that he wants to portray himself. Like, for an example, the fact that he spoke at Babu Dlamuka's like funeral. What was that? Is that not attention seeking? You don't know these people like that. Like, why you know, why would you want to get up and like speak at a funeral whereas you've never been done the right thing and came and introduced yourself to these people? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he likes attention. Like, even the thing of Utando saying that he only calls her when it's time to roll the camera just because he's getting paid. I guess he's getting a portion from Moja Love when he shows up, but I'm just like, yeah, this man, I truly do believe Witty, he likes attention. He truly does like attention. So anyway, another thing that I also want to mention is that Utando mentions that she doesn't have a relationship with the father. It's pretty much non-existent. He doesn't call or even try to call her. That's what she says. So she's busy. I can see they're out in the field and they're busy talking about like her father and like how like he doesn't really care about her and just the way he prefers to do things. But obviously everything was mentioned in a negative light. And I was just thinking to myself, I was saying to myself, Yabana, rule number one, Tando. You never talk bad about your family to your in-laws. No matter how bad the situation is, never ever speak bad about your family to your in-laws. Don't ever give your in-laws the platform to be able to speak bad about your mother, your father, or your family, even no matter how the situation is. And so I feel like Utando, there's an element where you can see Utando is young. And young in her thinking and young in her speaking, because you don't do that. It's just the same way of when you are at your in-laws, you don't take your news or your challenges that you're having with your in-laws and then you go and tell your family. Like, you just need to be able to respect those dynamics, because the thing is, if you share your family news with your in-laws, chances are you're gonna be fine with your family or your father one day. They are not. They're still gonna have that mindset towards your family, and vice versa. You can go and tell your family about your in-laws. You can tell them about your issues with your husband. Tomorrow, when you and your husband and you and your in-laws are fine, they're still going to speak bad about them. So you just need to have that middle ground. Like, find one person at least that you can speak to, someone that you can rely on, someone that you trust, and someone that can guide you and is much more mature in these things. But I just felt like what Tando was doing was just like immature in a sense, because everyone, the mothers, the sister wives, not the sister wife, the sisters-in-laws, everyone was just like felt like they were entitled to throw in a comment about Tando's father. And I know Tando's father, to a certain extent, he deserves it, because like the way he handles himself and the way he does things. But I'm just like, it's fine, Tando, if you are saying those things about him, but don't give other people the platform to disrespect him. I just don't think that's okay. And I think to a large extent that's why Siyacela disrespects Thembi Nkosi, Tando's father, so much, is because Tando gave him the platform. Yes, maybe Siyacela, like, it disrespects everyone, quite frankly, but I feel like she gave him the platform. Like, Siyacela can disrespect Tando's father and speak the way he wants to speak about Tando's father, and Tando will never ever like, say, no, that's still my father, don't, all of that. So anyway, she then goes to Utando, then goes to Siyacela, tells to Siyacela that no, my father actually wants to see me in Durban and what. And then Siyacela's like, oh, like, what are you talking about? Do you have a father? Oh, all of a sudden now he's your father type of vibe. I'm like, no one should be, if anything, your spouse should be encouraging you to at least get to a place where you have a healthy relationship, not even a healthy relationship, where you have a healthy communication with your biological parents. Not what Siyacela is encouraging is basically like, oh, today you have a father. I didn't know you have a father, because a father is a person, is a man that will provide for his kid from the get-go. Not what that man is doing, basically. Yeah, so anyway, then Tando then says that but I still wanna go see him. And yeah, what he says, when I get there, I'll tell him that he needs to give me money for transport, and I'm going to address the stuff that he does or says and whatnot. And then Tando says, hey, you don't know, maybe he can give us money. And then Siyacela's like, oh, okay, if that's the reasoning, then let's go. And I think I'm gonna create a second video about the money thing, of how Tando like speaks about money, of how her mother doesn't give her money, her father doesn't give her money. I think I'm gonna create a separate video for that, because that's a separate thing altogether. And I think it's something to speak about, because I mean, the fact that she's mentioning money coming from her parents, that her parents don't give her money so much, it's clearly something that affects her and something that she takes seriously. So anyway, they get to Durban. She goes and see her father. When she gets there, when she's seeing her father, the father has come with his other daughter, his oldest daughter, Unosipho. That's Tando's sister. He says that they've only met on WhatsApp or something like that. They've only chatted or texted via phone, but they've never met one another physically. So he wanted them to meet physically. And I'm thinking to myself, so you felt like that is a good opportunity to do it while airing. Anyway, that was his decision, but I guess maybe he felt like that was good enough content. So anyway, he greets Tando. Tando gets in there alone. Tando basically, after greeting and asking how you doing, blah, 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 Tando basically, lays her grievances and says, I don't like what you do. You basically only call me when, when production is here. And that, quite frankly, like, she's basically saying that her father's using her just because he knows of his connection with Tando, with Moja Love, and he's using her in that way. And then Tando turns to the sister and says, this man, he's full of lies, and he doesn't live the lifestyle that he portrays himself to be living. And then she says to him that she says to the sister, don't even waste your time with this man. This man is not going to pay damages for you, cultural damages. That's when you have impregnate a woman outside of wedlock. So Tando says that he's not going to even pay. She starts off by asking, has he paid damages for you? Don't even get your hopes up. He is not going to pay damages for you. He will only pay damages for you the day you start working and start giving him money, and he will use that money that you give him to then pay damages. I felt like that was wrong. I felt like even if you have a bad relationship with your parent, don't try and recruit other people, especially your other siblings. I don't think that was fair. Because the reality is, guys, we can have one parent and still have different relationships with our parents. So I don't think it's fair to kind of recruit other people and make your experience like a reality for other people's experience. But Unosipho, on her diary session, she does say that she understands where Tando is coming from, but she felt like Tando could have spoken in a much more better way. When Tando actually started our conversation, this is what she said to her father. She said, first of all, I'm gonna need you to give me money to go back, because I came all this way because you called me. Guess what Tando's father says in his diary session? He says that is he supposed to be buying Tando's love? That means the relationship between them is fake. He doesn't have a problem with giving her money, but why must she mention the money aspect as if he must buy her love? And I'm just like, yes, I do think it was kind of inappropriate in the way she could have put it in a different way. But I'm like, sir, you act like you're entitled to have a relationship with Tando. You're not entitled. Treat yourself like you haven't been around for years. Don't come around throwing your weight as if you've been around. So anyway, Ipele, the conversation ends, and then Tando leaves. As Tando leaves, Siyacela comes in. Siyacela comes in, and then he's like, I decided I should come and talk to you, what. That time, the way he's even sitting, guys, he's sitting laid back, disrespectful, so disrespectful. I was just like, you know what? In this scene, I just could see that both Thando and Siyacela are so disrespectful. And maybe it is an age thing, guys, because there's a certain age where you just feel like you need to give people, you need to tell them their stuff. And then there's a certain age where you just like, I don't have the energy for this. Like, it's not worth it. You choose your battles. So anyway, the sister doesn't like you could see her facial expression, Unosipho, that she weren't comfortable in the way Siyacela was addressing her father. But anyway, Siyacela asks Nosipho to excuse herself. And then when she does excuse herself, he starts speaking to him, to Thembinkosi, like kind of having like a man-to-man conversation with Thembinkosi, and quite frankly telling him that he's not a man, you know. And then Thembinkosi in his diary session says that Siyacela, there was like, I could have done anything to Siyacela because there was a fork and knife there. Siyacela basically says that Thembinkosi would have to kill him first in order for him to respect him. He would have to, yeah, that's basically what he said. In order for him to respect him, he said in his diary session, this is Siyacela, that he will never respect, he does not have no respect for Thembinkosi. He will never respect him. He's not a man. He quite frankly calls him a boy. He uses some vulgar words, some disrespectful words then, but the conversation ended by Thembinkosi getting up and walking off. I must say about one thing about Thembinkosi, he knows how to maintain calmness in like when the show is shooting. But these diary sessions, you can see he's fuming. But anyway, guys, that is a recap. That is not even all. That is just a recap of episode 2. I'm going to touch on other aspects in another video, but please do make sure that you like this video. Please do also subscribe. It's for free of charge, and I'll see you on the next one.